Hello, listeners and fellow explorers. This is Living in the Sprawl's lovely and talented producer/fiance, Lisa Lowe. I wanted to thank all of you for your constant support of the show. As a new podcast on the scene, the number one way to support the show is to rate, review, and share this podcast with everyone you know. Many of you have been doing this, and it has helped immensely. You can also check out our website and the show notes for other ways to support the show. We have new merch on our website, and we are working with companies that we currently use ourselves to get discount codes for our listeners and support the research and work we do for the show in the process. These companies include Every Table Meal Delivery Service, which offers delicious, cost-effective meals delivered straight to your door. Just CBD Store, which offers great tasting CBD-only gummies in a variety of flavors, and Miss to Mrs. boxes for brides-to-be. My sister Jennifer surprised me with this box when I got engaged, and it was the most perfect, thoughtful gift. You can also support us on Patreon and Podfan. Please check out the website at livinginthesprawlpodcast.com for updates on companies we are working with, our testimonies, links, codes, and new Living in the Sprawl merchandise. Again, thank you to all of you, our lovely listeners, for tuning in every week and allowing us to do what we love. Without further ado, your humble correspondent, Jon Steinberg.
Hello, and welcome to another installment of Living in the Sprawl, Southern California's most adventurous podcast. I am, as always, your humble correspondent and host in residency. My name is Jon Steinberg, and sitting to my right at this exact moment in time is my lovely and extraordinarily talented producer/fiance. Her name is Lisa Lowe. She is running the boards for today's show. It occurred to me during last week's episode that we needed to do something entirely dedicated to San Diego. As listeners, you undoubtedly are aware that Lisa and I reside in the Los Angeles area, but we try to get down to San Diego as often as humanly possible because, among other things, the cuisine is phenomenal. And there can be no better San Diego food than the fish taco. But we're going to broaden things out to include all forms of tacos as we provide you, our dear listeners, with a thorough examination of the 10 best places to grab some tacos in the city. Well, to be honest, I'm not sure what what their motto is. I'm tempted to say what Ron Burgundy says in Anchorman, but of course that's farcical. So, for purposes of this broadcast, we'll just go ahead and call it San Diego. Now, in our journey through San Diego's best tacos, there were a couple of fundamental questions that arose with great frequency. Those being, namely, are the tortillas homemade or store-bought? Paramount. Number one with a bullet and an exclamation mark attached to it. Number two, are we talking grilled, fried, particularly of importance when discussing fish tacos? And what's the salsa situation like? Can the establishment in question be counted on to provide, ideally, house-made salsa verde or something that prevents us from reaching immediately for the Cholula? Is that available on site? We checked out a number of places from Escondido and Poway up to Chula Vista, Oceanside, and everywhere in between. And this is what we came up with. So, for you, our dear listeners, let's begin our survey of San Diego's 10 best tacos. At number 10, Tacos El Gordo, an establishment that began across the border in Tijuana, but quickly expanded into multiple parts of San Diego proper. We had an opportunity to check out their outpost in Chula Vista, and this mini chain and chain is not used in a derogatory word here, has actually expanded out to Las Vegas. And when I decided to search for Tacos El Gordo, this is sort of a sidebar, but I think interesting enough to mention on the program, I came across an establishment in the San Fernando Valley. And after some consultation, I did realize that although the establishment in question was also named Tacos El Gordo, it had no association with the Tacos El Gordo mini chain that we are recommending here. So I don't know if that's a blatant example of copyright infringement or what the cause of that whole situation is. But nevertheless, Tacos El Gordo, courtesy of Tijuana, but now in San Diego proper. Their carne asada is that rare example of a meat familiar to most audiences that has managed to find new and exciting ways to present itself to the masses. We're talking lots of meat on the taco. We're talking a cavalcade of stupendous ingredients. And I know what you're thinking. Tacos El Gordo? Do I really want to dedicate 3 months worth of cheat meals to this one dalliance with tacos? It compels perhaps memories of meetings with the Taco Bell Gordita or something along those lines. But fear not, dear listener. Tacos El Gordo is not going to take all that hard work you put in on the treadmill off the table. It's nothing that you won't be able to contend with from a caloric intake perspective. And honestly, when you're having carne asada, this fantastic, or the spicy pork is also a mainstay for any Tacos El Gordo order. Think to yourselves, this is the reason why you put in that kind of time at the gym. But again, I want to emphasize, it is not a cheat meal on par with the aforementioned Gordita from Taco Bell. So I think that you'll be okay. Grab yourself a carne asada taco, a spicy pork taco, lingua. Their selection runs the gamut, and this is a great place to start any thorough examination of the taco culture on display in San Diego. So, number 10, Tacos El Gordo. At number 9, Encinitas Fish Market. So, downtown Encinitas has a real burgeoning food culture, and in particular, taco culture on its hands. Within not even a mile, City Tacos, Taco Stand, and Encinitas Fish Market. I'm someone that didn't grow up going to Encinitas very often. When we would travel to San Diego, it would probably be to your Coronado, your Del Mar, your La Jolla. But Encinitas, Cardiff by the Sea, Solana Beach, kind of that whole part of the North County region, they are really blessed with, pound for pound, perhaps the most lovely stretch of the Pacific of anyone. And this stretch of Pacific Coast Highway, where Encinitas Fish Market is located, really does merit some attention. The La Paloma Theater, which is on the National Register of Historic Places, is also on this street. And when Lisa and I were recently there, things seemed quite buzzy. So let's talk tacos here for a moment. If much to the contrary of Tacos El Gordo, Encinitas Fish Market keeps things on the healthier side, shying away from fried options, which provided the two of us with pause upon kind of reviewing the situation before our first bite. But we were quickly assured that, yes, we had made a solid decision by stopping at the restaurant for dinner. Specifically, the fish taco is the move here. Now, that may be obvious given the name of the establishment, but if you're contemplating, all right, do I get the namesake fish, or, do I maybe go carne asada, chicken, something like that? No, stick to your guns, trust your instincts in this regard, and do indeed opt for the fish taco, a heartier option than some of the other places that we have sampled over time. The relatively large portions are going to satisfy you. This is not a street taco situation. And fortunately, the folks at Encinitas Fish Market understand the value, the indispensable nature of the handmade tortilla. No mission tortillas here. You're getting the good stuff. So if you find yourself in this part of San Diego, not traditionally known for its killer culinary options, just think about the fish market on Pacific Coast Highway in Encinitas. Grab that fish taco, trust those instincts, and you will be sublimely rewarded. At number 8, the original Rubio'S fish tacos in Pacific Beach. So, in the early 1980s, a San Diego State student named Ralph Rubio had a dream. He yearned to replicate the taste of those amazing fish tacos that he'd been so fortunate to sample on frequent trips across the border while an Aztec student. So, he opened the first Rubio'S in Pacific Beach, catering to anyone and everyone in search of that singular bliss that traditionally accompanies a truly great fish taco. Now, we've had mixed results. The quote-unquote firsts are kind of an obsession of mine. Anytime we venture anywhere, it's always something that I look out for. What businesses were established in fill-in-the-blank community, and is the first fill-in-the-blank still open and accommodating business. We were blessed with the opportunity to check out this first of the now over 200 outposts of Rubio'S Fish Tacos, and we were summarily impressed by the cuisine on hand. Again, as was the case with number 9 on the list, don't overcomplicate things. Don't get wild here. Opt for the fish tacos. A really nice kind of mini bar situation to get involved in, with all kinds of salsa options for any brand of craving that you might have on your visit. Rubio'S is one of those places that would always make me smile. When I was a student at the University of Arizona, there was a Rubio'S maybe half a mile away from campus off of Campbell and Speedway, I believe, that I used to hit on occasion. This is before I became a definite foodie. But at the time, I treated it as something of a reward for a week where I had done well. And anyway, none of that's important. The important thing is Rubio'S reliable, impressive take on the fish taco is readily apparent at the first ever Rubio'S Fish Tacos, and that is in Pacific Beach, and it is open for business, and it used to be in Orange Julius, which I find to be kind of a funny footnote to the situation. What it lacks in aesthetic charm, the first Rubio'S more than makes up for when talking about the quality of its culinary output. We highly recommend this first of the Rubio'S Fish Taco chain that for some reason I thought was like the coolest thing on earth when I was a student in Tucson, Arizona, about as far away from the Pacific Ocean as you're going to get. Rubio'S Fish Tacos in Pacific Beach. Go there for the nostalgia, stay for the salsa bar. At number 7, another chain, but that's okay. When they start in the city that we're talking about, it's all good. We're talking about Sombreros here. And I was thrilled to be able to slot it in on this list, because I'm someone that definitely grew up listening to the song Josie, brings me Mexican food sombreros just because, and wondering, wow, to get a shout out like that, the food must be absolutely excellent. And I would love to try it someday. Now, fortunately, I have tried it, and you should too. If you're a Blink-182 fan, or if you're not, that's irrelevant. This is probably the most comforting out of any establishment that will be mentioned over the course of this episode. You aren't going to get, let's say, sous chef inspired takes on the taco here. Not a lot of kale, nary a mention of quinoa on the menu. You are going to get exactly what you'd be primed to expect from a place called Sombrero. Outstanding, but more importantly, dependable ingredients that set off crazy dopamine reactions upon anyone's first bite. It's like having a neighborhood restaurant in almost every neighborhood. Now, Sombrero is a chain, and there are outposts stationed in every pocket of the San Diego County region. So it's that, again, super rare example of a chain that actually merits your attention. Chicken, steak, fish, pork, all of the requisite ingredients are available. And sometimes in life, we all kind of need these meals. If we're having a miserable week and the theme song from Friends compels us to stop at a super reliable place for tacos and all things Mexican, well, that's not a bad thing. That's a human thing, and we all do it. And when we're talking about Sombrero, we can celebrate the fact that we do it. So, at number 7, listen to Josie again, and then head out to Sombrero for some incredibly comforting Mexican tacos. At number 6, City Tacos. Another sort of mini chain that has a number of outposts across the city. Different from Sombrero, from Rubio'S, there are some rather fascinating taco combinations that you can choose from here. When we went to the North Park outpost, I was head over heels for the especial taco. We're talking fish, squid, all kinds of delicious vegetables, sauces, a real galaxy of all things amazing. One of the more ambitious tacos that I've come across went extremely well with the Diet Coke that I was sipping on at the time. So if Sombrero was indicative of that comforting, extremely reliable taco situation that many of us clamor for during trying weeks, this is a great idea for a first date with somebody that you've never met. You've only talked to a couple of times. The ingredients alone serve as instant conversation starters, and the atmosphere at City Tacos caters to a younger crowd, I think it's safe to say, with fresh, thoughtfully composed menus, the super impressive array of options at City Tacos will serve to find favor with any audience, irrespective of background. We salute City Tacos for being boldly savvy enough to pair first-rate ingredients with first-rate creativity. And that's why it appears here on our list at number 6. At number 5, back to North County, Oceanside to be specific. Let's talk Miramar fish tacos. On a Sunday, following a visit to the nearby Mission, Lisa and I had a chance to grab an array of tacos from this strip mall gem. Kind of reminded me of something that you would see on the east side of Los Angeles in like a Silver Lake strip mall, something along those lines. And that's the great thing about the Sprawl, isn't it? That the best food doesn't have to be in the most expensive space. Sometimes the most delicious things can be found at sort of weird oceanside strip malls. And that's the case with Miramar. The move here is the fish taco. I know we're kind of saying that on a couple of entries here, but what can you do? You're in San Diego. Lots of seafood. Fish taco. Don't outthink the room on occasion. The salsa situation is an A+ here. It's a sit-down place, and that might make some reticent to check it out, but do not let that prevent you from enjoying one of the best fish tacos San Diego has to offer. If you are interested in chicken, pork, the other meat, vegetable options traditionally available, those are on the menu here as well. We like Miramar for excelling in plain sight, for hiding in an oceanside strip mall with very little in the way of outside charm. The food does all the talking at this underrated oceanside home run. Check it out. At number 4, Salud. Now, this is in a definitive taco mecca portion of the city. We're talking Barrio Logan, which has a lot in common with Boyle Heights in Los Angeles. Salud is, I believe, the oldest place that we are going to shout out on this list. A definite Barrio Logan institution. Everyone's in a good mood here. Most of the customers have cervezas that they're sipping from. Everyone has some portion of a lime, whether it's in their beer or helping to spice up their taco game. There are no passive customers at Salud. You're here because you want to be. And you should want to be, because the tacos are exceedingly wonderful. All of the anticipated options are definitely available, but while places like Miramar, the last place we talked about, might not have much in the way of aesthetic charm to them, Salud has that in spades. Loud music is definitely going to be playing. You're probably going to encounter a line, and you might have difficulty deciding what you want because everything is simply divine. I would dare say that Salud is the type of place that people from all corners of the city would and should turn into something of a pilgrimage. There are very few gatekeepers in San Diego, but dare I say that Salud is one of them. You haven't built up your own taco credibility until you've had what's coming out of the kitchen at Salud. Fun, lively, exactly what you want after you've hit close on that last Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. Salud is going to provide you with the best of starts to the weekend or conclusions to the weekend, if you so choose. But there can be little debate that Salud is a true heavyweight in the world of San Diego tacos. So it's an absolute must for any and all that wish to converse on this outrageously fun topic. And number 3, Taco Stand. With outposts across the city, Taco Stand is, without question, one of the cornerstone examples of San Diego's thriving taco culture. People simply love Taco Stand. And what's not to love when the prices are this reasonable and the food is this spectacular? Whether you're in the mood for fish, chicken, beef, pork, or even if you'd like to go veggie, they've got you covered at Taco Stand. It's designed to be an homage to the taco stands that exists across the border. There's nothing particularly earth-shattering about the experience of dining at a taco stand, aside from the fact that it's nice knowing that such fanfare can be directed to a fleet of businesses like this. Rather than be outshined by taco companies with millions upon millions poured into them by nameless, faceless venture capitalists, this mini chain of delightful shops caters to anyone and everyone. I dare you to find someone whose number that you have in your cell phone that you couldn't recommend trying a taco from this place to. It's designed to turn a bad day into something marvelous. And seriously, when the prices make you feel like you're buying a taco from a Walmart, and that's a good thing in this instance, you should be all smiles upon completion. We love the taco stand for its rigorous simplicity and also the fact that it's perfected something that places from Newport, Rhode Island, all the way across the country and everywhere in between have tried their hand at. That no frills, kind of basic, but immensely delicious taco stand. And it even has the name to prove it. Number 3, taco stand. And number 2, Galaxy Taco. This is in La Jolla. And you feel every last centimeter of La Jolla at this objectively beautiful seaside restaurant. It's not the cheapest option on the menu, but if you are in the mood for upscale, ingeniously prepared tacos, this is where you come. Their blue corn tortillas offset a fiery combination of ingredients that will make you ask, wait a minute, this is La Jolla? Yes, it is. And Galaxy Taco is there to enliven every occasion that might need a bit of amplifying. In an area known for its pricey real estate, world-class golf courses, and instantly enviable weather, the fact that Galaxy Tacos exists is something of a triumph. It obtained a Bib Gourmand from the Michelin Guide and routinely garners praise from food-related outlets in San Diego. This space could easily be a place where a hamachi crudo will set you back $35. But it's not. The blue corn tortillas are some of the best that I've ever had. The blend of ingredients and gorgeous setting make it an ideal spot for an early in the game date where you are trying to tell the person that you think you might have a future together. I've heard of Ina Garten's praise for her own quote-unquote engagement chicken, a chicken that apparently is so delicious that if prepared correctly, will compel someone to immediately propose marriage to its creator. I might go ahead and offer a taco equivalent, and surprise, surprise, it's the fish taco in the blue corn tortilla at Galaxy Taco as being taco example of an engagement-related dish. Few dishes have provided me with such culinary pleasure in the past couple of years as the tacos from Galaxy. So, if you find yourself in this part of San Diego and you're looking to have an actual experience, stop in, say hello, and find out for yourself. And here we are. We've arrived at our number 1. The best taco in San Diego. Where is it? Where can we get it? Here's where. Oscar's Mexican Seafood. 3 simple words, but when combined, they produce an incredible example of sense memory. The fish taco, that's what you should be ordering here. It's the best example of fish to cabbage to sauce ratio that we've come across. Tremendously filling, not an example of a street taco where you're going to need to eat like 4 to find fulfillment. Oscar's Mexican Seafood, I'd put it pound for pound up against any fish taco in the country. There are only a couple of outposts here, but if you find yourself in San Diego or are lucky enough to be a San Diego resident, you've probably already heard of Oscar's and undoubtedly tried it, and you're probably a fan. An extremely popular option. Food television shows have been there. when I asked my friends that live in San Diego or went to school at San Diego State, multiple friends told me, hey, Oscar's, that's the best that you're going to do in terms of tacos in San Diego. And I didn't believe it until I tried it for myself, but upon sampling that fabulous blend of all things great, I became a believer myself. So if you only have one day to spend and one meal, make it the fish tacos from Oscar's Mexican Seafood. And that's going to do it for us here at Living in the Sprawl, Southern California's most adventurous podcast. A couple of things to mention before we get out of here. Want to thank anyone, meaning everyone, for their 5-star reviews. Those help immensely on the business end. They help to drive you up the charts. I know it takes a couple seconds, but hop on iTunes. It's the purple icon. Give us 5 stars and write us a nice review if you could. The social media, Living in the Sprawl podcast, is our handle on Instagram, where we post all of those great visual representations of all the adventures that we get up to. You can write us with suggestions for topics that you would like to hear discussed on forthcoming episodes of the show. We have responded to a number of you wonderful listeners out there. And actually, I've got an episode coming up in the next couple. I've got it earmarked for, I think, 2 from now, which is based upon a listener suggestion. So we actually do utilize the feedback and put it into practice. So if you would like to reach out to us with any and all comments, please do so. Living in the Sprawl podcast at gmail.com. And that, of course, is also our website where you can buy Living in the Sprawl merchandise. The mug, I talked about it last week and the week before. I'm going to continue to talk about it because it's just that outstanding. It's a Living in the Sprawl mug with our striking logo scrawled across it. Lisa and I drink out of it every single night. Not alcohol, we're talking tea that helps put us to sleep. We also have stickers and magnets. Anything and everything that you could want Living in the Sprawl related, we've got on our website. Oh, and I wanted to mention again, the website is where you can find the helpful guide that Lisa has put together with quick links to the lists that have been outlined over the course of this podcast's life cycle, recommendations, things that we believe you will find interesting. It's all encompassed within the bounds of this helpful guide that we've put together to help you in your own adventures as you do your best to experience all the great things that the Sprawl can provide. Want to remind everyone about our Patreon page. We've already recorded a couple of episodes, Southern California's best burgers, Southern California's best places to get seafood, and we've got another one coming. This time we're tackling pizza. So best pizza in Southern California is only going to be available to Patreon supporters of the show, and it's a great list. So you should subscribe to hear that additional content. Well, I don't know about all of you, but I'm pretty hungry by this point. So until next time, on behalf of the team here, and the team is composed of your humble correspondent and host, that's me. My name is Jon Steinberg, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely and talented producer slash fiance. Her name is Lisa Lowe. So enjoy those tacos, check out a couple spots, let us know what you think. We are always looking out for you guys here at Living in the Sprawl, Southern California's most adventurous podcast. Talk to you next time.